All right, guys, welcome back again. Winning with Blends. Today, we're going to talk about working with modulation. Very simple, but also very deep and useful techniques that we all use all the time. Maybe we're just not aware, but we're diving into modulation today. Thanks for joining this one. All right, so first things first, let's explore modulation. So what is modulation? Modulation is essentially the modifying of an original sound or some type of signal over time. Modulation can add movement to your mix, perhaps some depth, and even change the dimension of your sound. We often use modulation to improve our mixes, of course, and to improve your production overall, right? It's important to get a good mix so you can get a good master, of course. Now, a source signal does the changing. This is kind of one of the complicated parts, but let's not get too scientific. Let's keep it simple. The source signal is what does the changing, and the carrier signal is the original sound or the original tone. So a source signal is the source of the modulation. So for example, in a bowl of soup, whatever's floating on top of is the carrier signal. And your spoon causes that soup to move. So the liquid essentially is the source signal. LFOs, or perhaps oscillators, are modulators. LFOs, or low frequency oscillators, are common in synthesizers, as we all know. So ADSR envelopes allow for a broad range of controls. That's an example of modulation as well. Okay, so some modulators produce signals, but they don't produce sounds. Rather, what they're doing is they're altering the carrier signal. Okay, so let's go over a couple of common modulators, or even what they do. Right, or what do modulators essentially affect? So modulators can help to perhaps move the controls of an instrument or an effect. They may alter the volume or the gain, perhaps, maybe change the position of the filter of your sound, perhaps alter the pitch of your sound, okay? Now, let's say some typical modulators. We have ADSR, so we talk about ADSR as in the attack, decay, sustain, and release envelopes, okay? We also can look at modulation wheels. So a lot of us have keyboards or things like that. We can adjust the modulation wheels. LFOs, okay, again, low frequency oscillators. And some of the most common, which we'll get into a lot of them today, would be things like chorus, flanger, phasers, vibrato, tremolo, auto pan, things like that, okay? Remember, guys, the original sound is the carrier sound, and the modulator is the source sound. So let's get into this. What do I have here? I've got a mix, and within here, it's simply drums, a bass line, and some synth, 3X oscillator. So first of all, let's look quickly at the 3X oscillator and see what types of modulation we can do within, okay? We've got a couple of things. We can adjust the phase, okay? And because it's the 3X oscillator, we have potentially three different oscillators working together. We can adjust the pitch of these, as you see, to create our own special sound. We can adjust the tune of each of these, okay? We can adjust, as you see, the shape of the wave, okay? We can detune, we can put things in phase, out of phase, change the phase, right? We can invert stuff. There's so much we can do, and I would recommend you guys dive in. Listen to the sound as I change it. And don't forget, you can also record this and automate, right? So this is modulation right here. First of all, it's a 3X oscillator. We just talked about how low frequency oscillators are modulators. Oscillators are modulators. So that's one right there. Let's leave it with that triangle sound, okay? Let's go over here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this bass line, and as you see, I've added a little distortion. Okay, I'm going to send this to our modulator effect track. Guys, if you're not familiar with send effects, I'll pin a video right now, and that will take you to exploring send effects. I definitely recommend you watch that video before continuing on with this one if you need. Let's dive in. So let me remove this from the master, and this is being sent to the modulator. What do we have here? We have MultiFX, okay? Within the MultiFX, you have various forms of modulation, okay? We have some flangers, for example. Let's put those up. Okay, we have phasers. or we have a phaser. Ooh, it's getting wild. Listen to that. I'm gonna mute the drums. Listen to this. Here's a wobbly. Okay, we also have a panner. So auto pans. Okay. Let's do square. You hear that? Let's mute this as well. Okay. And because it's the square, it's going to be really choppy. Let's go to sine to smooth it out a bit. Maybe. Okay. Vox effects. Okay. Just showing you a few. Okay. Let's take that off. Let's put these back on. And we'll also send this sci-fi sound to the modulator as well. And let's dive into some other modulation. Let's go for some chorus. Okay, so now both of these are being sent to the modulator track so that we can affect it and just get some ideas of what's going on. Let's increase the mix. Listen to that chorus effect. Let me drop the drums. Let's speed this up a bit and increase the depth. Okay, some of the effects may not be so simple to hear, depending on the instrument you're using, right? Okay, let's drop that. And now we're going to go to the flanger. And I assure you guys, we'll dive deeper into chorus effect, flanger, and phaser in an upcoming video, so do stick around. Within the flanger, we can change the shape. You hear that? Change the speed, the strength, the frequency. You guys hear that? Okay, let's put the drums back on. Right? Ooh, I love this. Let's increase the feedback so it's more extreme. There you go, let's go. And we can sync that to the tempo. Right, and now we can actually... Okay, let's drop that and go over to phaser. All right, let's see what we can do. You guys hear that? Sync is on. Let's turn the sync off. So now we can choose the speed manually. And guys, don't worry about sounds going above 0 within these channels here. What you need to worry about more is the sound staying within 0 or below 0 on the master, okay? These can go up to a max. It's not really going to affect your overall master, all right? So don't worry about that. So let's continue on and do a little bit more phasing. There we go, that's pretty strong. You hear that, guys? Whew. So of course, like, the sounds may not be exactly what you want, but this is just a demonstration for you guys to check it out. Guys, check out this video on... Whew. All right, check out this video on creating atmospheres and soundscapes. Guys, thank you so much for your time today, winning with blends. Justin Blends back for another one. All the best to you guys, all right? Take it easy.